Goldberg is opening up about his match with the Fiend Bray Wyatt, so we'll see what he had to say. We'll also check in to a superstar that's speaking out about the current television situation with Vince McMahon. Let's start things off with the revisiting of Goldberg versus the Fiend, and also seeing what Goldberg had to say. So this story takes us back to late 2019, early 2020. A lot of fans look at the Goldberg match as the starting point for the Fiend's unfortunate downfall, but everything started falling apart much earlier than that. Of course, we're referring to Hell in a Cell 2019. After one singles match against Finn Balor, the Fiend was instantly #1 contender for the Universal title without doing anything else. All he had was a win against Finn Balor, and apparently it was enough to get placed right into the #1 contender spot. Although fans were happy to see Bray Wyatt back in the world title picture, they figured that WWE was taking the wrong path with the Fiend by rushing him into the title picture when they didn't have to. Everyone expected the Fiend to slowly revisit old rivals that had taken advantage of him in years past, and obviously get revenge on them with his new creation of the Fiend. Just have the Fiend go along his long list of past foes in WWE. And maybe at the end of the list, title contention could come into discussion. That's not how things went at all. One win against Finn Balor, and he was instantly facing Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell for a world title. This Hell in a Cell match, a match that was supposed to have little to no rules, ended in a no contest disqualification. Fans just couldn't wrap their heads around how WWE booked this match, telling by the finish they didn't want Seth Rollins or The Fiend to lose the match. So it just left fans asking, why did you even book the match then? After seeing the reaction and magnitude of this mistake, they put the Universal title on The Fiend a few weeks later at the next event, and that was the right move because they just wrote themselves into a corner. So Seth Rollins' feud ended up being just a small hiccup because things did get back on track for Bray Wyatt. He started feuding with Daniel Bryan and kept that theme going of revisiting old rivals, and they had a great story together. The Fiend even got his own custom title. That right there is extremely rare to get in WWE, and only a handful of superstars have ever gotten their own customized title. That's definitely something you don't see often. So the fact that they had a custom title also made fans think that maybe WWE was seriously on board with Bray Wyatt's new character and persona. Now you get to February 2020, enter Goldberg into the scene. Only the last few years, Goldberg's story has been very repetitive. He returns, demands a world title match, and usually gets that title match. That was the case here. Fans were scared of Goldberg in this match against The Fiend. But fans figured that there was just no way Goldberg defeats the undefeated Fiend right before WrestleMania. And to everyone's surprise, that's exactly what happened. Goldberg was the one to end the Fiend's undefeated streak. And just around this same time, Bray was hinting at the idea of the Fiend having a weakness and how it could be used to defeat him. But that mystery and story was thrown out the window when Goldberg ended the undefeated streak. Why did Goldberg take the title so soon from Bray Wyatt? Well, the rumor was that WWE didn't view The Fiend versus Roman Reigns as a worthy enough WrestleMania program for WrestleMania 36. So their quick change was to put the title onto Goldberg, have him walk into WrestleMania with it, and face Roman Reigns in the Spear versus Spear match. Of course, all those plans would end up blowing up in WWE's face after Roman Reigns took some time off, and it had to be Braun Strowman versus Goldberg at WrestleMania instead. Then after losing Roman Reigns and entering a pandemic era with a limited roster, WWE placed Bray Wyatt right back into the title picture the week after WrestleMania 36. But by then, the damage was already done, and everyone looks back at the match with Goldberg as the beginning of the end for that special run from The Fiend. Goldberg recently spoke with Shaq Wrestling and addressed all the controversy surrounding the match. He had this to say, quote, "Let's put it this way, I've never said anything that wasn't true in the wrestling business. I'm a talent, and I do what the boss tells me to do. I flew to Saudi Arabia knowing that I was gonna lose. Then, somehow, it changed, and the finish was different. And it surely wasn't me, because it's an extremely selfish move, number one, to do. Number two, then truly it wouldn't be about the business. It would be about myself. And number three, who the hell am I as a part-time guy to come in and demand anything? Truly, I mean, I'm not. Vince gave me opportunities that, maybe I didn't deserve in the past. And I owe that man just about everything. First and foremost, I've never said no to put anybody over. Maybe back in WCW, I didn't agree with Jericho over or something like that, if I can remember correctly, because I didn't think it was time for the character to be involved in any comedy. But not in a million years, in that Fiend situation in Saudi, would I have done that. No way in hell. And I'd love to get on the phone with Bray and tell him. I'd love to see him face to face and make sure that there's not 1% of his being that believes that I changed that match." End quote. So according to Goldberg, the original finish was supposed to be The Fiend successfully defending the Universal title against Goldberg. Like Goldberg said, he arrived in Saudi Arabia thinking that he was still losing, but plans changed at the last second, like they usually do. Goldberg just wants Bray Wyatt and the fans to know that he has no role to play in the change to the finish, and how it was strictly a WWE decision that they made on their own. And that's completely believable. WWE was obsessed with the idea of having Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 36, and that seemed to be the one true factor in the change to that finish between The Fiend and Goldberg. But that was Goldberg's explanation to what had happened there with The Fiend. A very interesting report recently came out regarding Vince McMahon's WWE appearances after all the allegations came out. After the WSJ article came out exposing all the details about the ongoing Vince McMahon investigation, he did step down, but for the next few weeks, he was basically forcing himself onto WWE television in any way that he could. Basically trying to send a little message that no one can stop him from appearing on his show, and he'll keep appearing no matter what they put out there. Fightful reports that one current member of the women's roster anonymously told him that they felt like Vince McMahon was more concerned with squeezing himself onto TV after the Wall Street Journal story than making sure the talent had gone on TV. And again, fans sort of already had that feeling before this current WWE woman stepped up with this comment. Instead of stepping aside from the spotlight and not being a distraction during the investigation, it looks like Vince McMahon went right over and grabbed that spotlight to place on himself following all the articles. So it was a weird move. But it would appear that the forced Vince McMahon TV appearances have stopped for now. So we'll have to see how that situation continues to play out. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.